Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, for your kind words of welcome. Executive members of the Trinidadians and Tobago and USA, permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Rodney Charles, Consul General to the Trinidad and Tobago Consulate in New York, Mrs. Nan Ramgoolam Gosain, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Ashford spoke very eloquently about Ras Shorty Eye, someone whom I also knew very well. But I don't know if Dr. Ashford knows this bit about Ras Shorty Eye, that when Kishore Kumar came to Trinidad, Kishore Kumar heard his song Om Shanti Om, and Kishore Kumar's rendition of Om Shanti Om was a replica of what he heard Ras Shorty Eye sang in Trinidad and Tobago, something Kishore Kumar himself acknowledged afterwards. So Ras Shorty Eye did have an influence upon that song that emanated and became a hit in the Bollywood music scene. But it was not the first time that Trinidadian musicians had such an impact upon Indian singers out of India. In fact, Manade, when he came to Trinidad, he was amazed that Yusuf Khan was singing Kabir bhajans as he sang them. And he heard Yusuf Khan sing Dhobiya Piyasha, Maratha Piyasha, and went back to India and recorded that song. And just to put you back in terms of how we have affected the music of India, in fact, the first 33 and a third Ramayana long play record was recorded by a Trinidadian before India recorded such a record. So it goes to show you that, Ras Shorty Eye, among others, had an influence also upon the music in India. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to Trinidadians and Tobagonians USA on this venture here this evening. It is an important venture because it not only brings the diaspora together, but it also helps to establish a sense of community that is necessary for a diaspora living here in New York. It promises to be a brotherhood and a sisterhood that is so important in terms of mutual support for each other. It is important to promote the presence of Trinidad and Tobago, not only in New York, but in all parts of the United States of America. And this organization can do so in a very profound and very emphatic way by not only celebrating the cultures and the festivals of Trinidad and Tobago, but by going beyond that and becoming promoters for Trinidad and Tobago in terms of the image of Trinidad and Tobago and what Trinidad and Tobago represents and stands for in the international community. Too often we hear the complaint that not enough people know enough about Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore this evening, in addition to what you have set yourself out to do, I want to challenge you in terms of your association to go beyond that and to begin to look towards promoting Trinidad and Tobago as a destination for people from New York, from New Yorkers to come to Trinidad and particularly Tobago, which they may have as their tourist destination. I also want you to think of promoting Trinidad and Tobago here in terms of manufactured products out of Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you may not realize, but Trinidad and Tobago has a very successful manufacturing sector, and in fact exports to many, many places in the world. And there is no reason why, just as you have Asian shops developing in New York, and you have Chinese shops developing in New York, some of you cannot become entrepreneurs and really develop a perfect West Indian shop selling products from Trinidad and Tobago here in New York. Your ability to support products of Trinidad and Tobago will go a long way in promoting the country and promoting our manufacturers. You are, as a diaspora, not just somebody who have come to live in the United States of America. In fact, the government of Trinidad and Tobago do not see you as someone who has left your country to come to live overseas. That you have made that decision is an important decision. But we see you as first ambassadors of Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, I want to stress to you that the way that you promote yourselves, the way you image yourself, the way you behave in this country, the way you extend in terms of your own personal character, how people see Trinidad and Tobago will be important to Trinidad and Tobago and to its image here in New York and the United States. And therefore I want to urge you that at all times, in terms of behavior and character, that you be always striving for excellence. But there's one thing I want you as an association to also go beyond what you're doing. And that is to encourage the professional groups among you, the doctors, the nurses, the surgeons, to come back to Trinidad and to offer some free service to people in Trinidad and Tobago. Right now, every month, I receive some medical team from the United States of America, consisting mainly of Americans. But I know in this country that there are many doctors and there are many other professionals, dentists and so on, who have qualified in the United States. And if we really want to say that we want to do something as a diaspora for Trinidad and Tobago, then contact me and come back with a group of doctors and let us do something for people who are in need of medical attention in the country. For example, there are 10,000 people now in Trinidad and Tobago needing cataract surgery. And I'm sure there are some good eye specialists here. If you intend, you can come to Trinidad and Tobago. We can provide you with the surgical facilities and you can provide the skills. In this way, your association will go beyond a mere celebratory association and will become part and parcel of the development in Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you are wondering about what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago with respect to the state of emergency. The state of emergency was a very courageous act by the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and the Cabinet in order to deal with runaway crime in the country. Trinidad and Tobago has become a drug transshipment point, and there are a lot of Colombian and Mexican cartels that are now entering the Caribbean and perhaps Trinidad and Tobago. The rate of murders was too high. The rate of personal injury and serious offences against the person was too high. And the Prime Minister took the decision that we are going to do what we were voted into power to do, and that is to reduce the crime rate in Trinidad and Tobago. And what has happened in the last 5 weeks, I want to tell you. From August 15th to today, 3,111 persons have been arrested as of 8 o'clock this morning. Among them, 449 persons belonging to gangs. These were gangs who they would go on the streets in the middle of the day, jump in your car and pull out your chains and pull out your watch and so on while they were under CCTV cameras. They couldn't care if they were seen or not. So 3,111 persons arrested, 449 were gang members, and also 600 persons were arrested for drug offences. Another 655 persons were arrested for serious offences, 56 for murders, 632 for traffic offences, and during this time also 781 persons were arrested for outstanding warrants. But what is even more significant is that 110 sophisticated firearms were seized, along with 12,325 bullets and 27 magazines, making it for the year 18,000 rounds of ammunition have been seized in Trinidad and Tobago from the bandits. So that Trinidad and Tobago is becoming a safer place because of this action. And this action was meant, as Ambassador Charles told you, to seize the country back from the bandits. This is about a nation fighting back against the bandits to restore the rights of citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And if you come to Trinidad and Tobago, you will begin to experience the difference that this state of emergency has made in the country. I want to urge you to continue your good work. I want to urge you to continue your good work, not only in terms of Trinidad and Tobago, but you are living in this country now. And because you are living in this country now, you also have a moral obligation and a duty to contribute to the well-being of the United States of America, which is now giving you sustenance and providing you with opportunity. So even as you contribute to Trinidad and Tobago, do not forget your obligations to the country that has accepted you and where you have now to contribute and to make a life in the future. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to congratulate the organizers, especially my friend Carl, at whose home I've come on several occasions for Ramayana Yagnas. And I look looking forward to coming back and perhaps to talk with you again as to how we might carry not only this dialogue forward, but a program of action that will make you very proud, not just in terms of, as I said, celebrating festivals and occasions like Republic Day you are doing today, but also contributing by way of your professional skills to the development of Trinidad. Thank you very much and happy Republic Day.